All right, man. Shout out to the Pistons last night for basically getting the win without Blake and Andre Drummond. Blake didn't return in the second half with a knee injury. There's a lot going on, Heisman fights going on. But I was peeking back and forth at the game. But shout out to Dwayne Casey and the shorthanded Pistons for getting the job done. So let's talk a little bit about Blake and D Rose. All right. Are the Pistons better without Blake Griffin? Now, you can't say they're better without Andre Drummond last night. You know what I'm saying? Because that was one game. They were successful, but they've been successful with Drummond this season doing what he's been doing. It seemed that Drummond and the gang have been better without Blake Griffin, and it seems that Blake Griffin is slowing the process up and slowing the game up for a lot of these dudes to get up and down the court. The Pistons got a lot of athletes. I mean, Andre Drummond may be the most athletic, durable, when you add athleticism and durability together, than any other big man in the league. You know what I'm saying? Only one that hold a candle to him may be Karl Anthony Towns in that department, because Anthony Davis, he ain't durable at all. But you know, are they better without Blake Griffin? And I think right now, yeah, I think that Blake shouldn't have came back until after the All-Star break. Let him heal, let him rehab his knee, and just get 100% healthy, and then let's just make that stretch run for the playoffs down the stretch. And then, you know, if he look good and the Pistons look good, then hey, we move on and we try to put more pieces around them. But like I said before, Blake Griffin is looking like an old grandpa out there, and they trying to get up and down the court, and he's slowing the pace up. So I do think it's at the point where they need to sit him out till he get healthy and he able to get up and down the court. And I don't think it's a situation to win as far as, you know, stamina. When I say win, I think it's a situation of health. You know what I'm saying? I just think his knee is not allowing him to be as fluid as he wants to be on the floor. And then again, you got to integrate him into the offense, and you cannot integrate him if he's not healthy. Same thing with Reggie Jackson. This team is going to have to get, you know, a makeover with playing time, rotations, and Reggie. And if you're going to play Reggie and Derrick at the same time, and you know, it's tough. And it seemed like with a guy like Bruce Brown, when they let him get up and down the court, control the ball, that he had his best. But he ain't got the ball in his hand outside of playing defense. He really not that good. So, you know, Luke Kennard is taking the initiative and being more aggressive this season. So some of these younger dudes is figuring out where they good at. But Blake Griffin, he just slowing down the show, and I think they should shelve him until he passes the physical test and to be able to run up and down the court with these guys, because he ain't doing nothing but hurting himself, and he hurting his stock as an NBA All-Star this season. He should have just sit out until after the All-Star break, in my personal opinion. But usually you don't play yourself back into health when you coming off a knee surgery, and when you 30 plus years old, whatever he is. They should have just let him rehab it, get it stronger, and then when he looked like he was able to get up and down the floor, that there it goes, man. But I just think right now he hindering the team more than helping it. You know what I'm saying? So you know, you still got Markieff out there that can assume that position. When Dre come back, he can still be that guy. But I think when he came back, I think a lot of dudes failed to adjust to him. But eventually, when he do come back, they got to adjust to him. But it's hard to adjust with a guy when y'all want to get up and down the court, that he can't get up and down the court, and he's slowing y'all up, especially when he one of the primary ball handlers for the Detroit Pistons, all right? But talk a little bit about D Rose too, man. I think it's time to let them start D Rose. Everybody pretty much been hell-bent over, should D Rose start? And just go ahead and start him. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people just still thinking he can be that all-star caliber player. But like I said, I had to explain to one of my dudes from Chicago I went to college with. I had to tell him, like, dude's just still too reckless with his body. And that's why he had the injury early on in this season. You know, he still think he the Derrick Rose that's the MVP mentally. And that's good. He get over that mental hurdle. But he's still just too reckless with how he get into the rack. But physically, he can do it in bursts as long as you monitor his minutes, especially if you're going to put Blake Griffin on the shelf, you know what I'm saying, for a minute, and Reggie Jackson not going to be back for a while. I don't see why not. Bring Luke off the bench, let Langston start, whoever going to start in place for Blake, and then go that way. I think Derrick Rose and Andre Drummond is a good 1-2 punch, but you can't run Derrick Rose into the ground. That's one of the reasons they refuse to start him, not just to get that oomph off the bench, because physically he can't do it. If most guys, you know, in the NBA that get older, if they can play half the time, part time, like you see some of these dudes at LA Fitness or or at Lifetime, and they still, you see them working out on social media, and like they still can play. Yeah, physically, they still got the jumper. They still can dunk every now and again. But it's the physical grind of 82 games, getting on and off PJs, hotel, you know what I'm saying? A little bit of practice they do. It's just the physical grind of playing 82 games, and that's tough. And Derrick Rose is a part-time player at this point in his career, but he a damn good part-time player. If his body can manage full-time minutes, Derrick Rose is an all-star this year. No doubt in my mind. But, might as well start him, and then bring Bruce off the bench and let Bruce be the second primary ball handler. Let Blake rest. Let Reggie get healthy. And that's just how I'm rocking. I would let Derrick Rose start, and I would manage his minutes. I would average him about 20 to 25 minutes a night. And then Bruce will play about 20, or if D Rose play 25, Bruce will play 20. And then if D Rose play 20, Bruce will play the 25, or whatever the situation is. And that's only 3 minutes left, so we'll figure that out when we get there. But that's how I would do. You know what I'm saying? I would let Derrick Rose be the primarily ball handler, and then I would let Bruce. But people just get so hell bent off of starting and coming off the bench. But really, what it boils down to is, are you playing in the meaningful minutes? And when the game on the line, like you seen in New Orleans the other night, Derrick Rose is out there handling the ball. And I think if Reggie Jackson come back, that doesn't change. He still should be the primary ball handler for the Detroit Pistons in the time of need. But with people so hell-bent on him starting, they might as well go ahead and start him. But he can't play full-time minutes. He ain't a 35, 40-plus minute player no more, or he not going to be no good to you. So you still have to manage his health-wise, his health. You know what I'm saying? The Pistons got a lot of guys. They got injuries that's older. If this team was 10 years younger, this might be a championship caliber team, but it's not. As far as they veterans like Reggie and D Rose and Blake Griffin and a few other guys out there. So that's what a lot of people gotta pay attention to, man. I think Blake ain't healthy, but I do think D Rose bounced back good from the little hamstring injury. And with Blake being out, they might as well start him. You know what I'm saying? And Reggie come back. Maybe if D Rose his health still managed well and he's still productive, then you start him and bring Reggie off the bench. It ain't no stranger to Reggie. Reggie was the sixth man behind Russell Westbrook. But I do think, the Pistons right now, they still like 10th in the East. I do think Dwayne Casey, need to make some adjustments, and they start on the health department. It started with, you don't bring Reggie back until he's healthy. Don't bring Blake back until he's healthy. And then, Andre Drummond showed early in the year that when you put the responsibility of the load on his shoulders, he showed that he could respond. There's a lot of maturity coming from him, man. And I kind of started to turn the corner on him, but I don't know, man. We have to really see what happens with him, but it'd be a good opportunity to really test and see if he can carry a franchise, man. And if he can carry a franchise and he warrants the money, that he wants, then you find out right now. You know what I'm saying? And then if he able to do it, then hey, man, maybe we need to move on from Blake and turn the keys over to Dre. If he can't and Blake can't come back healthy, you get a deal for Blake. Maybe move on from both and you start off from scratch. But at some point, this franchise, if it don't get it done with this core of people, Derrick Rose, Blake, Drummond, Reggie, and etc., they don't get it done with these core people. At some point, you have to stop trying to just piece it together on the fly. You have to tear it down. You have to build it back up. You're not going to recreate the perfect Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Tayshaun Prince, Ben Wallace, Rasheed Wallace, Corliss Williams, and Mehmet Okur, Lindsey Hunter, Mike James Storm. That was a 1 in a billion trillion shot. At some point, you got to be that team that got to find you a Grant Hill, do right by Grant, and then put pieces around Grant Hill, and don't miss on like guys with like Darko Milicic. You have to really draft well, and once you draft well and you get to Grant Hill, and you may get another star to go with him, then other free agents will want to play around them guys. But hey, it's just my humble opinion on it, man. But congratulations to the Pistons for getting the job done in Houston. That was an awesome thing to do, and they held James Harden in check. He had went off for 50-plus points back to back. You know what I'm saying? So, they did a good job last night, but they got some adjustments and some thinking to do, and that may start with just letting Blake Griffin rest until he's healthy, and they may take to the All-Star break or even beyond or earlier, and then I think they might want to plug D Rose in the starting lineup at this point, while a lot of them dudes, the ball handlers, are injured. But don't forget, we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out to the email if you got business question, inquiry, sponsorship, video requests. Keep sharing the videos. Want to make a donation, that link subscription. Best way to donate is share the video. Motor City Sports Talk. Don't forget, we on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Reach out to the email once again. Appreciate the love, support. One time for the one time. Motor City Sports.